Hi, I'm Linda from Scallywag Astrology, and we have the full moon tonight in Pisces. I'm going to run through what that means for the different ascendant signs. If you don't know what your ascendant sign is, you can try somewhere like astro.com. They will help you find your ascendant. I do offer a free service that you can get your ascendant, and for those who have requested their free natal chart lately, I do apologise. I am running behind. Had a lot on my plate, had a big move and just a lot of work on. But for those who know what time they were born or close to, if you know that you were born close to midnight or midday or dusk or dawn, I can give you some examples of what ascendant you might be. Excuse me. Okay, so we have the full moon tonight. Full moons are all about endings. The new moon is about new beginnings. It's about setting intentions. And the full moon is about endings. It's about completion. Yeah, just doesn't have to mean the end of the line or anything, but it might be the culmination of a certain step. So let's move on. This moon is really interesting because in Native American folklore, I'm not sure what you would call it, tradition, they believe this is, or they call it, the harvest moon, and it's often linked to late summer in the Northern Hemisphere. I'm actually in Australia, so I'm Southern Hemisphere, but in the Northern Hemisphere, they're finishing up their, my cat wants to go out. In the Northern Hemisphere, the farmers are finishing up in the fields and getting ready for harvest. So it's a harvest moon, very appropriate with a full moon. Okay, let's get to it. I'm just going to quickly show you the chart for the full moon. This is it here. So you can see the moon here is at 21 degrees Pisces, and the sun here is in Virgo at 21 degrees Virgo. Their opposition. A full moon is an opposition between the sun and the moon. The new moon is when they're conjunct or close together. You can see here we have Venus and Mercury both at 29 degrees, and they're 8 degrees away from the sun here, so it's not that significant, but it's interesting that at this full moon we have Mercury, which rules communications, and Venus, which rules, relationships, but also values, conjunct. Mercury is actually the ruler of Virgo, which the sun is in at the moment, so it's interesting that the sun is quite close, not super close, but quite close to its ruler. And the moon here in Pisces is ruled by Neptune, and this is Neptune here, not that far away. The moon tends to be related to emotions, and Neptune is very romantic and idealistic. It can be a little bit deceptive too. So our emotions might be kind of playing tricks on us. We might be much more het up than we probably should be with this full moon. This Virgo over here in an earth sign, it's reliable, practical, down to earth, very analytical sun. And it's, close-ish to this Mercury because Mercury does rule Virgo. It's a very organized one. So we've also got Jupiter over here. It's not making a super close square to the moon and sun, but Jupiter, that enthusiasm there, is squaring both the moon very widely and the sun. So again, Jupiter is often associated with good things and optimism and enthusiasm, but it can also be related to overdoing things. So we need to keep a little bit of a level head with this full moon, I think. The moon, the emotions here, it has Neptune quite close to it, so it's kind of seeing everything through rose-colored glasses. There's a good chance that things are going to be overblown, over the top, and not being seen in clear light, which you know, is going to contrast here with poor old Sun in Virgo. Virgo wants to have those glasses very much non-rose coloured. So yes, that's that. Let's go back. Now I'm just going to go through what it should mean for each sign. As I said, this is for the ascendant signs. If you are a Pisces ascendant, or if you're a Pisces that's born close to dawn, if you're a Virgo who's born close to dusk, whenever dusk is where you were born, a Sagittarius born close to midday, or a Gemini born close to midnight, this is a first house moon for you. First house is all about ourselves. So this moon might tend to make you more emotional than normal. It could be that you've been putting a lot of focus on relationships lately and you feel like it's time to step back and you need to take a little bit of, you know, time out for yourself. This could be about completing things that related to you. The ascendant, or the first house, is often related to how we are perceived by others. So you might be doing something about having a new image. It's also related to our actual appearance. So you could be kind of, you know, maybe you've been dieting for a long time, or you've been, you know, working on a new look, and, you know, now's the time to kind of launch it. You know, maybe it's, you've done all the preparation and now's time to launch, perhaps. If you're a second house, so if you have an Aquarius ascendant, or if you're an Aquarius born close to dawn, if you're a Leo born close to dusk, if you're a Scorpio born close to midday, or a Taurus born close to midnight, this house is all about finances. So you will have the moon in the second house. So you might be wrapping up things to do with finances. You might be coming to the end of a big debt. Maybe you've had a car loan, maybe you've had a mortgage, maybe you've owed somebody something and you've finally been able to pay that off. You know, lately you might have been putting a lot of time and attention into shared finances, and now it's time for you to kind of, you know, take a little bit more control of your own finances and your own security. It's also related to our self-worth. You might have been working on making yourself feel better about yourself in some way, and in whatever way is applicable to you, because that's going to be different for different people. For Capricorn ascendants, which includes myself, if you are a Capricorn ascendant, or a Capricorn that's born close to dawn, if you're a Cancer born close to dusk, if you're a Libra born close to midday, or if you're like me, you're an Aries born close to midnight, this is your house. The third house is about siblings. So the moon is in the third house. You may find that you've got some culmination or an ending, or, you know, something to do with your siblings. It could also be cousins or your local neighborhood. It could be about some sort of learning, though it's not likely to be a very big, intense course. It's not likely to be coming to the end of a university course. That's more of a ninth house matter, which is the opposite house, which the sun is in at the moment. But it's likely to be something, you know, maybe you've done a little short, you know, 2-week course on something. Maybe you're coming to end, you know, a completion of that, you get your certificate or whatever. Yeah, it could be related to your local neighborhood. Perhaps, like me, you've been focusing very much on overseas matters, on publishing, on the law or religion or philosophy, you know, the internet. Some of us, a lot of us, are very attached to the internet, but yes, perhaps you've been focusing on those things lately, and now it's time to take a little bit of time back and start focusing your attention a bit more on, yeah, closer to home. And this is also related to early learning. So, yeah. For the fourth house, if you're a Sagittarius ascendant or a Sagittarius born close to dawn, If you're a Gemini born close to dusk, a Virgo born close to midday, or a Pisces born close to midnight, this is your house. The fourth house is about home and family. It's about our roots. It's about our homeland. And it's also about real estate. So you may have, you might be coming to the completion of your house being built. You might be moving into a new place. You might be settling on a contract. I mean, it doesn't have to be exactly today, but we're talking about around this time. The fourth house is opposite the 10th house. So your sun or your attention has all been on 10th house matters, which are career, public reputation, and how you, well, not how you perceived by others, but yeah, so you've been doing a lot of focusing on all that sort of stuff, but now it's time to take a little bit of a step back to wrap up some matters to do with your home and family. Sag. Okay, next is the fifth house. The fifth house is for Scorpio ascendants or Scorpios born close to dawn, sorry. If you're a Taurus born close to dusk, this applies to you. For Leos born close to midday and for Aquarians born close to midnight. This is a really fun house. The fifth house is basically just fun. It's things that you do for enjoyment. It's also creativity and it's your children. So there may be matters relating, there's some sort of culmination or a completion or the end of one cycle and, the start of a new cycle, because endings aren't just about endings, they're about new beginnings as well. So your children could be going through something, they're coming to the end or the culmination, the high peak of some achievement. It could be you yourself coming to some sort of completion on a creative project. This could be related to sport. It could be just about getting out and having more fun. You've probably been focusing more on other people, other groups and friends. Now you're taking kind of ownership back for your own enjoyment and doing what you enjoy, or that's what you should be doing. For the sixth house, this is for our Libra ascendants or Libras that are born close to dawn. If you're an Aries born close to dusk, a Cancer born close to midday, or a Capricorn born close to midnight, this is your house. The sixth house is often referred to as the house of work. It's also animals, so this could be related to a pet. When we talk about work and career, we often talk about career being 10th house. Kind of apprenticeship and kind of just daily drudgery is more of a sixth house thing. And it's also related to our health. So if you've been suffering with some sort of ill health, hopefully this is going to be, you're kind of turning a corner, hopefully. You do need to watch out for your health though. The sixth house is opposite of the 12th house. So there's been a lot of focus on your secrets, your undoing, psychological issues, maybe hospitals, prisons, that sort of thing, hidden areas. Now it's time to focus on your health. It's getting down to daily routines, taking care of your diet, taking care of your animals. So yeah, it's not the most up full moon to be having, but it's certainly a good one. The seventh house is falling, the full moon is falling there for Virgo ascendants or Virgos who are born close to dawn. If you are a Pisces born close to dusk, a Gemini born close to midday, or a Sagittarius born close to midnight, this is your house. The seventh house is about relationships. So there could be some sort of ending or culmination coming up in relation to relationships or partnerships. This can be business as well as romantic relationships. When I say endings, don't go, oh my God, it doesn't have to be that. It's like the death card in tarot reading. It doesn't have to mean death. Sometimes it does, but quite often it's about new beginnings. It could be about the end of, you're being single and you've just gotten married. It could be about moving from being non-exclusive to being exclusive. It could be any number of things. You might decide to move in together. You might decide that you want more time apart. It's just a change of sorts. It's a culmination of something that's probably been building up for a little while. The seventh house is opposite the first house. So perhaps you've been focusing a little bit, perhaps being a little egocentric lately. I shouldn't say that, but maybe you have been. Maybe you've been focusing very much on yourself, and now it's time to step back and put a little bit more energy into your relationships. For the eighth house, this is for our Leo ascendants, or Leos born close to dawn. It's for our Aquarians born close to dusk, our Tauruses born close to midday, or our Scorpios born close to midnight. The eighth house is a very deep and kind of almost, excuse me, murky house. Death, sex, and taxes, other people's money. This could be related to shared finances and resources. That can include things like inheritances. It can include taxation and insurances. Perhaps you've been waiting for an inheritance to be settled, or a taxation matter to be, brought to completion. Maybe you've got an insurance payout coming. Maybe you and your partner have been going through something, and you've had some sort of agreement, and that's being sorted out now because it is shared resources. You've probably been quite preoccupied with your own resources, your own feelings of self-worth lately. And these aren't accusations. This is what's probably been preoccupying you lately, but now your focus shifts to this area of your life. Okay, for our Capricorn ascendants, that can't be right, it's our Cancer ascendants. I was looking at the wrong thing. For our Cancer ascendants, or Cancers born close to dawn, our Capricorns born close to dusk, our Aries born close to midday, or our Libras born close to midnight, this is a ninth house full moon. Ninth house, another quite fun house. It's overseas affairs. So this could be dealing with businesses overseas, dealing with people overseas, other cultures, other foreign people, things that are different to what you're used to. It's also publishing, the law, the internet, occult things like astrology. It's also religion and philosophy, and it's the internet. Oh, and higher education, of course, university and that. So if you're a Cancer ascendant, maybe you're kind of coming to the end. Maybe you've been writing a thesis or something for a big assignment. Maybe you're just finally coming to, getting that sorted. You're finishing it up. Third house, you've probably been doing a lot of just, writing, communications, research. Now you're kind of being able to wrap all those things up. For some people, you might be, finally going on that overseas holiday, or maybe you've been traveling and now that's coming to an end. There's some sort of ending, culmination, or reaching a high point with these matters. For our Gemini ascendants, or for those who are a Gemini born close to dusk, not dusk, I keep saying that, Geminis born close to dawn, our Sagittarians born close to dusk, our Pisces born close to midday, or our Virgos born close to midnight, this is our 10th house moon. So the 10th house is about the 4th house is our most private area. The 10th house is our most public area. So this is often related to our careers. It's also public reputation. So this needn't necessarily be related to your career, although it often is. People getting married, quite often you'll find a moon or something like this in your 10th house when you're before a lot of people. So this could be for really good things, for, being recognized for an award, or you're getting married, or you've just had a baby. For some reason, you're gaining a lot of attention. Hopefully it's good attention. Excuse me. You might need to watch yourself. You're possibly more emotional than usual. And because it is a 10th house moon, the moon's in your 10th house, and the moon is emotions, you might be a little more emotional than normal, and it might be more visible than normal, which might be quite upsetting. So, and Geminis are pretty roll with it types. Virgos born at midnight, so they're not going to like that though. Pisces born at midday, they're not going to care so much. Sag, they're not going to care so much, but Virgos aren't going to be. Midnight born Virgos, you're probably not going to be super happy. It's everybody has emotions. Don't stress about it. Our first house, Pisces ascendants, the Virgos born at dusk, the Sag born at midday, and Gemini born at midnight. Yes, because this is the sun and moon, the sun's in Virgo and the moon's in Pisces. We're talking about mutable signs. So our mutable signs, which are Virgo, Sag, Gem, and Pisces, are more likely to feel the effects of this full moon more, generally speaking, or it's more likely to be visible on them. If you are a Taurus ascendant, if you are a Taurus born close to dawn, you are a Scorpio born close to dusk, an Aquarius born close to midday, or a Leo born close to midnight, this is your house. This is about friends, groups, and organisations. It's about your hopes and dreams. So hopefully it's not the end of a hope or dream. Hopefully it's the achievement of a hope or dream, or you're working very strongly towards it. Friends are likely to become much more, not necessarily important, but maybe more featured in your life at the moment. You've possibly been working away on your own projects, consumed with doing what you find enjoyable, maybe preoccupied with children, that now it's time for you to kind of make a bit more time for friends, you know, and just be available for them. And the last house, this is for our Aries ascendants, or Aries that are born close to dawn, our Libras born close to dusk, our Capricorns born close to midday, and our Cancers born close to midnight. 12th house, again, very murky house. It's the house of our undoing, they say. It's related to hospitals and prisons. It's psychological issues. It's addictions. It's dependency. It's about wanting to stay hidden. It's about feeling tired. It's you know, when you're really tired, you stayed up all day, you've been working, running around, doing all this stuff, maybe having fun, and you just get to the point where you're just exhausted. That's what the 12th house is like. You know, it's what we need to go through. We need to have that rest and break and recuperation before we come into the first house, which is all about, here I am. But yes, so these signs, you might be, maybe you're coming to the end of something like this. Maybe you've had some emotional issues, or you've had some kind of psychological issues or dependency issues, and maybe you're coming through that. That's fantastic. If it is, you know, more power to you. Good luck. For some people, maybe you've just been keeping behind the scenes, you know, plotting and planning. Maybe you're planning your great big debut in, you know, the next whatever amount of time over the next 6 months. That's fantastic. That's good too. But yes, the 12th house does have a very depressing reputation. It doesn't have to be. The 12th house could also be about taking time apart to meditate, to, when we talk about hidden places like hospitals and prisons, it's also nunneries and, retreats. So it, like everything, there's good and bad, but hopefully this has been a good one for you. If you have been going through some bad stuff though, hopefully this is coming to an end. And the 12th house, that's what you've been That's what you need to focus on. You've gone through maybe some health issues, maybe your daily routines have run you down. Now you need to rest, recuperate, and take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself, and talk nicely to yourself too, because, there's that psychological aspect. Okay, that is that. I'm going to try to get this up very quickly. I want to do this as a premiere. This is very, very rushed, so it's not going to be edited. I don't know if I'm going to edit it at all. And I hope you enjoy it. I'm hoping maybe we can do this once a month on the full moon. We can have a little talk about what's happening. Yeah, because I just don't have time to do the weekly horoscopes anymore. I'm trying to do monthly horoscopes. Please bear with me. I'm just pulled in all directions at the moment. As I said, I've got a 3rd house, 9th house full moon going on at this time. So I've been focusing on all that internet, on publishing, on overseas matters. And now I'm getting some time to spend on getting down to brass tacks, communications and all that. So hopefully. Anyway, thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great full moon and a great week, month, whatever. I'll see you next month, hopefully. Bye.